the biggest bye week yet. We're going to jump into all of that here on the Sooner or Later Sports Show, a Hog Media production presented by Sleeper. I am your host, Jay. That's Coop. And I am Jay. Thanks for pulling up here on the YouTube channel and listening wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to while you're here. Please wipe your feet and like, subscribe, rate, review. Give us 5 stars. I think we deserve it. Go ahead and give us 5 anyway and gift it. So, on today's episode, we've got a lot of fun things to dive into. Like, we're going to go ahead and recap what happened last week in college football because there's a lot of implications in there for the Sooners. We're also going to talk about more implications in college football last week because it impacts the Sooners. And we're going to wrap things up by doing the exact same thing a third time. We got a lot to really cover and a lot of bases to really dive into. And we'll react to polls. Shout out to our partners over there at Sleeper. If you have not checked them out for daily fantasy ball, you're missing out. Use our promo code UNFAIR and they're going to hook you up. Not only will they give you a match your first deposit at 100% up to $100, they're also going to give you $20 just for signing up. Use our promo code UNFAIR or the link in the description below. Coop! Happy Sunday, my man. How are you and the family?
Hey, man. Doing good. As you can see, I'm not at home. I will say this: had our internet cables cut in our neighborhood, and so hopefully tomorrow we get all that stuff back in. So, I'll just say this: grandfather grew up in West Texas. He is still kicking,
He's
so yeah, he's a West Texan, so he's still kicking. We're kind of at the final hours, but great time with the family. We've been able to just really be around everybody who's gotten a chance, who's going to come see him in his last hours has had the opportunity, and we got some good time. I spent the night up there a couple different nights, and so just appreciate everybody's thoughts and prayers and everything like that. Showed the opening to Sunday show to my family. And, they were all definitely blessed by that. And, everybody who has sent them out in the socials too. I just appreciate everybody.
Absolutely. We're always keeping you all in our thoughts and our prayers. We know now it's now the formality portion of it, right? We're kind of just waiting for him to decide that, all right, I think I'm good now. Right now, there's a reason why he's still doing his thing. He's still fighting. He has a reason. So we'll just pray for, like I said, your family's comfort and his. Shout out to all y'all for, of course, showing Coop the love and making sure you're keeping him and Coach Powers and that family all in your thoughts and prayers. College football was a busy weekend, Coop. I want to kind of open with this, that you got to remember, no matter what, even if you hate 12-team playoff, it is giving us this. It is giving us a lot of drama going into the last few weeks of the season. You're not following one team anymore, or 2 teams, or even 4 teams, right? You're now following roughly 20 teams to see who ends up where. And so we've got a lot of pressure on a lot of different people. And I think that's the thing I enjoy most about the 12. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the 12, I appreciate the fact that we're dealing with a lot of teams that are still in the hunt. And so every game matters. It's the easy way to do things is to just go undefeated. And if it was that easy, everybody would really do it, right? Like, you've only got 3 undefeated teams right now in college football: Ohio State, Indiana, and Texas A&M. It's a little hard to do.
Yeah.
So we're now here. So we look at last weekend's games, Coop. I think the most important ones to really point out: Indiana barely beats Penn State 27-24. I do feel like that's going to make an adjustment for them. Texas A&M put the work on Missouri 38-17. And I think that game, to me, probably has one of the bigger implications for, let me pull it up, for Oklahoma. You've also got Bama surviving LSU. A little weird, but they survived LSU on that. BYU getting cooked by Texas Tech, which that means to me BYU should see a drop.
Yeah.
And both of the ACC teams that's supposed to be going for the championship get knocked off, which 14 and 15 drops them. Vandy surviving Auburn, which will give them a slight boost. So where do you want to start, Coop? Which game is the one that makes you jump out your chair and get you excited?
I mean, first of all, I say, yes, Jay, I have to agree with you about, the 12-team college playoff. Why else is the college football fan losing their dang minds on a Friday, November 7th, watching Memphis, go down? And everybody's like, really, this is who we had in like just 2 days ago so like, this is what we asked for. I mean, it's much better than going, hey man, there's two teams that are still, going to have something to play for. What are you in Indiana and Ohio State and potentially A&M conversation if we're still doing the two teams. So I'd like to start in Indiana because
I like that.
I'm not a believer in Indiana.
Ooh.
And I haven't been like, I watched what they did when they played Iowa, and I believe that was 20-15. This game, they really, I mean, Penn State, that's why they're 3-6 and without a head coach right now, is they haven't been able to do these things. They're playing, a freshman quarterback out there. I mean, they win on a toe tap at the end of the game, right? And so you're seeing that Indiana high flying, going crazy offense doesn't really show up and show out against teams that actually could play anything resembling defense. I mean, they didn't exactly light it up against Oregon. Didn't light it up against Iowa. Now, did they win the games? Yes, Jay, they won the game. And that little zero on the right side, that's the most important part. But I will say, the game-winning catch, I'm glad it wasn't some kind of like controversial rub route to where a dude goes running into the end zone. One of the two best catches, two of the best catches I've seen in college football this year on back-to-back plays. You got the big dude on the sideline, catches it, full extension, and then obviously the back of the end zone for the end. But it's they survived.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're not wrong. For me, when it comes to Indiana, and I guess the argument where I would go on the opposite side of the sphere for you is that, they beat Oregon 30-20, so it was kind of a little bit better of a game than I anticipated. They beat the crap out of Illinois when they were ranked, but we had questions about why the heck Illinois was ranked so high, but they beat the dog out of them 63-10.
Yes, they did.
Iowa is known for their defense. Oregon just beat them, 16-15? Like, it's... if there's Kurt Ferentz, if there's one thing I'll give him, his defenses are always some sort of legit.
Yeah.
He's also found a market inefficiency out there, is that he's always got some elite white corners out there that get disrespected when they go to the NFL and they make them safeties. Nah, man, put that dude at corner. He can do it. Yeah. Let him be a corner. Stop making him a safety. He ain't no safety. Like, Cooper DeJean is not a nickel. Dude, Cooper DeJean is an outside field corner, and he's shown it.
He is.
Let him do it. But Kurt Ferentz always finds that market efficiency because he's always got at least one or two white dudes that are elite at the corner spot. And then, of course, Penn State, which it's funny that you point that out, because I was thinking about the James Franklin takes of people saying, oh, there's no reason James Franklin should be fired and blah, 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 right? They're 0-6 in conference. He was getting fired this year. And there was zero chance they won one game, even with him as head coach. He was getting fired, period. 0-6 in conference, you should get fired. I don't think that was a ripple effect of him getting fired. I think that was he was going to get fired. So with that being said, I'm kind of sold on Indiana. And I'm sold on them because they are grinding out wins, and it's getting late in the season. I feel like they're now in a circumstance that's similar to what we're seeing in the SEC. It's certain games are grind out wins. It's either all offense or all defense, and they're just one play at a time to get you there. The good thing for us is going into this coming weekend against Bama, it probably will be another one of those, because when we do the advanced numbers on them, shout out to my guy Popo / Odesses or whatever he goes by each week over there at the tunnel. We were looking at the advanced. I had already been researching them and putting some stuff together too, and he dropped me the early preliminaries. Cool, it's gonna be an interesting one. So we'll break that down later. We'll save that for another episode. So please hit the like, subscribe, bell notification so you don't miss it. But to start with Indiana, you're right. I see why there's not a reason to be bought into them, but I'm kind of sold on the fact that they're just grinding out and getting wins. That's the tough part to me. I think it's harder than keeping blowouts going, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but where I would go with it, and maybe we don't have an answer for that right now, but would Indiana be favored over A&M on a neutral field? Bama, Georgia, Texas?
Good question. That's a good question. We don't have an answer on that. I don't. Let's see. I'm gonna go look at, because ESPN's FPI is more of a neutral site favorability metric, and it appears they would have the top 3 teams, Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. All 3 of them would be favored by roughly a point to a point and a half over Bama, Georgia, and A&M. A&M is actually like a 6-point dog, it appears in their numbers, which is a very interesting and fascinating thought.
Yeah. Well, here's a news flash. I don't know if I fully believe in Ohio State, and I definitely don't believe in Oregon.
Who really believes in Oregon? Like, and it's no shade to Dan Lanning. Is he going to end up having to leave Oregon to really get over the hump that he wants to get over? It kind of feels like.
Well, it's crazy because you just lost a slew of people. Like, you've had a little bit of an issue. I mean, you had Dylan Gabriel come in there as a quarterback, and you have athletes galore all over the place. But they always seem like the Oregon wide receiver, the Oregon running back, always seems like they're really good at something. They're not well-rounded. They're good at something. And when you get into a game against a big time Big Ten or SEC, those Oregon athletes always seem to not have those answers. So
that's true.
But again, we get a 12-team playoff. So where I'm going to feel justified is it looks like, regardless of the Michigan game, Ohio State and Indiana are on a crash course for the Big Ten championship game. And what happens if Ohio State goes out and pops them like 27-10? Is everybody going to be like, it happened last year? Because I feel like Indiana is kind of on that Penn State trail. You look good all season long. You get to the end in these games that matter, and it just doesn't come together for you. But again, I'll call myself an Indiana hater. I'm going to be in a show. I'm going to be in a prove it and show me type of mentality until they show it up against the. And I don't mean beating Texas Tech in a round 1 game or beating Virginia or Georgia Tech or somebody like that. Like, I want to see them go up against an Ohio State. I want to see them go up against a Georgia, an Alabama. I want to see some of them go play one of those guys and put it down.
Same. I do need to see them. I got to see them play against some other big boys. Like, I need to see Indiana versus Ohio State. Got to see them against Oregon. That was a pretty solid one. Give me them versus Ohio State. Penn State's no longer part of the echelon of teams in the Big Ten. Give me that matchup. Heck, even Michigan. You know what? It'd be even interesting to see them against USC. Now, that give me some of that. You don't get much of that, though, in the Big Ten. I think that's where the big difference between the Big Ten goes with what we get here in the SEC, but I digress. That one's an interesting one. We'll see where that changes things. That Texas A&M Missouri game, though, goodness. Missouri not having their quarterback going to their third string. That one is that they may not win any more games for the rest of the year. That's a possibility. Texas A&M really does look like a full-fledged squad right now.
It's Texas A&M. Yeah, I mean, again, they don't have their quarterback. I mean, they've got the Zellers kid. He's young. I think that Texas A&M is walking. I mean, as Zufik says right here, they're walking in uncharted territory. But I think that they've got a lot of that LSU game. It should have been as close as it was. I'm waiting to see because A&M's got a lot of guys on offense, but man, I will say the QB just at times you're like, bro, what are you thinking? Like there are some WTF moments on their team, and so I would like to see it again at the end of the year. You're going to get to see them go play Texas, and I mean if Texas just smacks A&M. I'm going to call fool's gold on A&M too.
Yeah, some of their best wins. Marcel Reed has not played his best, and in some games where it's like, because to me the Arkansas win's not a good win. I mean, they won the game. That's all that matters. But 45-42, their defense failed them. Even though Arkansas offensively is absurdly talented, but 45-42 just feels like way too close for even my liking. But I agreed. LSU game was. I mean, you finish it out 49-25. You close it, but that probably shouldn't have been that type of game. And, Marcel Reed was out there, he clocked in. He put in some work, but 12 for 21, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. I mean, we know LSU's defense, when they're at their best, they can play. But, of course, he did everything. He ran for 100 yards to go with his 200 yards passing, so he did all the work. There's a lot more to be desired out of Marcel Reed right now, but he does enough to make sure he doesn't lose games for them. And I think that to me is probably way more commendable than anything. He does what you want, and that's what you're looking for. You want to make sure that at least your quarterback doesn't lose games for you. That helps. To me, that helps them overall because Elko's a really good defensive guy, and we're seeing A&M's defense, for the most part, give you some games that are really good over there. In itself,
and you haven't seen the clunker out of A&M yet this year, and
you really haven't.
As Gabe and Teddy have been saying here recently, winning is a skill, and this is again new territory for them. So, but yeah, no, I mean, if you're a Texas fan, you're more concerned about Georgia than you are against A&M. Like you just there's so many teams right now that it's like we are in a prove it mentality. How many folks here, Texas or OU, are worried about Texas Tech? Like, none of us are. We know what Texas Tech is.
Texas Tech. It's fair.
So, now, is somebody in the ACC worried about Texas Tech? Maybe because they don't know. But, like, there's a lot of teams right now that you're like, hey, listen, let's see what happens. Let's see what it looks like. And Lemon, you got it right. With the strength and conditioning coach from LSU looks really weak. And you add good strength and conditioning, because again, that's where Schmitty was before he came back here. So we'll see what happens. This is why we have these conversations, Jay. It's why they run that show, 4 weeks before the end of the season. There's lots and lots and lots of content.
Oh, yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about. So we're going to jump into that next game because LSU, Alabama is a very interesting one because of the implications towards Oklahoma. We'll explain why. First, shout out to the partners over there at Sleeper. If you haven't checked them out for Daily Fantasy Ball, y'all know y'all missing out, man. They're the sponsor of the channel. We appreciate them showing love. So we're going to make a couple of picks here. Right now, new users, 100% match on your first deposit at 100% up to $100. Plus, they will give you $20 just for signing up using our code Unfair. Our boost for tonight, you can get the free pick here with Anthony Edwards on the basketball side. He's got all three of them, plus NFL action for the Sunday night slate. You've got Aaron Rodgers at more than 215 passing yards, definitely. I think Justin Herbert won't run in this game. But I'm also going to take Cameron Dicker the kicker. Why not? He's going to make at least 2 field goals. You pick 3 or more players, more or less on their stats, and you can make some big money. So check them out. Use our promo code UNFAIR. They're going to match your first deposit at 100% up to $100. Plus, they're going to give you $20 just for signing up. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thank you all for pulling up per the usual. Hit that like button if you are new to the channel. Subscribe. I was looking through some of the analytics and whatnot. It looks like about half of our viewers are not subscribed to the channel. It's free. Help your boys out. That just helps us to be able to provide you guys more and more content. At some point, we'll be able to do this all of the time for the people like you. So anyway, Coop, let's look at let's take a gander at the next set of games, because I think the one that I think for the weekend that, like I said, has pretty good implications is LSU, Alabama for us Sooner fans, because that score is 20-9. 20-9. LSU did the unthinkable. Same thing that Florida did that I did not have on my bingo card. They benched both their quarterbacks. Nussmeier got benched for Michael Van Buren. As y'all may know, he was a heavy target for the Sooners back when Lebby was the offensive coordinator. And that's how he ended up at Mississippi State. He ended up leaving Mississippi State, going to LSU. He's their quarterback now because Nussmeier got benched. And then DJ Lagway also got benched at Florida. We'll talk about that in a minute. But 20-9, it doesn't feel like a very impressive score for that game to me, Coop. When I sat down and watched it, I was trying to figure out why was it 17-3 for so long. It just felt like forever. It was always 17-3.
Hey, this ain't the juggernaut 9-6 game from several years back, to where you just have 2 just ridiculous defenses. Bama's got an issue. They cannot run the ball. When us Sooner fans were getting really, really freaked out about not running the ball earlier in the year, Bama that's where Bama's at, but even in a worse case. I think their leading rusher like 21 yards rushing, and LSU's defense is good. You come off the coach firing, it's like that that adrenaline shots after the death of the coaching staff, but there's no way that game should have been that way. It just looks like LSU, their defense. It looks like OU last year, Jay. That's what LSU looks like. A dead offense and a defense that's pretty good, just trying to just drag the dead corpse of an offense across the finish line.
Which is crazy. And looking at the way Alabama's offense, Alabama's has rushed for 1,000 yards total this season. We have given up 742 yards rushing so far this season. Like, that feels really low. 3.5 yards per carry. We're at 2.49. They're barely getting over 110 yards per game right now. It's not ideal for what they're trying to do and be able to achieve. Now, I'll give them this. They're averaging 400 yards a game, and it's really all Ty Simpson. And this is kind of my thing when it comes to Ty Simpson and his capabilities of playing. Ty Simpson's going to throw darts. He is accurate. He is a smart quarterback. He makes really good decisions, and you can see the effect of Ryan Grubb right now. This Bama team looks like Washington that went to the national championship type ever since the Florida State game. They look just like that. They weren't a big running team, but they were really good at passing. Michael Penix was basically cooking you, throwing the ball. And I always remember Michael Penix had no knees. He didn't have knees back then because of all the injuries he had when he was at Indiana or whatnot. That's what they look like. That's what they
It's
remind me of.
not even as good, because though I think that you go back to that Washington year. I mean, that was a Joe Moore award-winning offensive line.
He really was.
I can't remember the cat's name at running back, but I mean, dude was averaging still like 100, 115 yards a game. Like, he was running the ball well. And then you had 3 NFL wide receivers, and you've got, Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard. But listen, Ty Simpson it's not going to be running around. That's not going to happen. But I mean, you look at some of the offensive, and again, everybody, not only am I dealing with the family stuff, but I got no internet at the house, so I'm operating on a laptop and my cell phone, so I'm not ordering Uber Eats.
He's ordering Uber Eats.
Yeah, I wish. But these are the conference games. I mean, you have leading rusher 46 yards against Georgia. Vandy, they got 136. They really balled out, but they played with a good lead there. Missouri 85. Jeremy Bernard was the leading rusher against Tennessee with 49 yards. So when your wide receiver, it's like the Wisconsin score from this week where the punter led the team in passing on one fake punt. South Carolina 26 yards and then 21 yards. So, I mean, they're not getting close to 100 yards. I mean, they're hoping for 50. I mean, they're hoping for 50 yards, and it's going to be their passing game versus our pass defense this coming weekend. But
Right.
I don't know if now, full disclosure, did you look ahead to OU and kind of just chalk it up as a W for this LSU game? Did they just do kind of bare minimum? Like, those things are still always on the table. But
No,
LSU posed nothing as a threat on offense, and you can say that Alabama didn't have to press on the gas. They didn't have to get creative. They could just literally show up. We talked about it last year a lot with us. Like, teams just show up and they can just do one thing, and they know that as long as you don't give the Sooners life, then there's not going to be any life on that offensive side. So we'll see. We'll see, because you're still going there next week. Their passing game is very, very good. But those portal transfers from Oklahoma, Jay, I don't think that very many people are excited about Nick Anderson and Bauer Sharp anymore over in LSU country.
Struggle's real right now. They weren't playing. The Knicks, I think, possibly done for the season. Unfortunately, I hate to hear that seems to happen to him. He gets hurt. Bauer Sharp had the fumble. It just like, man, it's pains me for the LSU fans that were talking smack to us all off season when we gave warnings. Dang, it seemed like Sooners were giving out a lot of warnings and nobody listened to us, but I digress. That Washington team that went to the national championship, and this is why I said this team reminds me of it, 2023, that team, Coop, how many yards per game do you think they averaged that year?
That
Washington team that Kalen DeBoer coached and went to national championship. How many yards per game do you think they rushed?
If rushing, okay, I thought you meant total. I would say rushing. Let's go with buck 29.
118. They were 106th in the country. It looks literally just like this year's team. Spit and freaking image. Because Alabama is 120th in the country and they're averaging 111 yards. Right about the same. Difference is
crazy.
They're passing for a ton more. They pass for a ton more yards at Washington compared to here. But again, that's where Ty Simpson is tough. Ty Simpson is out here, like I said, he's throwing darts, and they are one of the top offenses in because passing, they asked 343 yards at Washington, but they also had those absurdly talented wide receivers. And this year they're 291. They're 14th in the country. So number 2 to number 14. This team reminds me of Washington because I think the other thing that helps them is their defense isn't awful. Their run defense is. Their pass defense, is actually pretty darn solid. So anyway, LSU though, man, I feel bad for Frank Wilson for the most part. They look bad. You had to bench Nuss. 23 for 32 in the pass game. He passed 173 yards. They only ran for 59. Caden Durham, you want to come home? I know everybody keeps tweeting that to me. Can we get Caden Durham? Can Caden Durham pull up? He had 3 carries for 4 yards in this game.
Hey, I do want to say this, because I was just looking, but the cat that they had at Washington in 23 ended the season with 256, 104, 89, 82, 152. So
Dylan Johnson, yeah,
Dylan Johnson. So they got their stuff together towards the end, and we're seeing 20-yard outings from Bama. But yeah, I mean, if you're LSU,
fair.
You look at like an LSU, you got to look at teams like Miami, Penn State. I mean, it's not that they just were expected to be competitive and to have a chance at something great this year. These are teams that were like, there was a lot of people that were like, I mean, Penn State was number 2. Miami, people like 3 weeks ago were like, Miami might be the best team in college football.
Yeah, that's true.
And the LSU team is like, early in the season, they were worried about starting the season off with a win. And it's like, how do you take it? It's just funny, some of the narratives that we have in college football, because you never know what's going to happen. But Jay, I can promise you one thing: when you got a lot of curiosity at your offensive line, any team that had to replace what LSU had to do, or any team just going forward, if your team is replacing a buttload of offensive linemen and you got first-round draft picks going in, and now you got freshmen, you got transfer portal, like, you need to pump the brakes on any expectations being too lofty, because if your offensive line is cheeks, so your expectations need to come down quite a bit.
Yeah,
i.e. Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's going to be the biggest challenge for Oklahoma. And like I said, we'll break down that game on Wednesday as we prepare for them, because the biggest thing is going to be we need to focus on running the ball down their throat. Okay, there's a few more games to really talk about. Of course, Georgia finished business against Mississippi State. They got Texas this weekend. We'll preview them later this week. BYU and Tech, yeah. BTA. Honestly, I think that's really all that really has implications on us, because I know that BYU is going to drop. We'll look at polls in a minute. Go ahead. And then kind of want to talk about what BV said a minute ago.
Yeah, I would say also that Oregon-Iowa game, yet again, I have no understanding how Iowa cannot just find a quarterback that can be, hell, with Jackson Arnold, that might be his only other place that he could transfer would be Iowa. At least they would celebrate his production. But how good would Iowa be if they could complete a forward pass, Jay?
If they could do it consistently, yeah, they'd be a problem, because Kirk Ferentz's defense is always up there. It's just, I don't think people realize how hard it is to find truly competent offense in college football. Like, for real, I've come to the conclusion that it's really hard to find a quarterback. It's really hard to find a schemer that can out-scheme some of these defensive guys. Iowa literally makes teams have to readjust their entire game plan in order to win games. We've seen it, and then we've seen other teams just struggle with their ability to throw and all of it. It's crazy how hard it is when you're going up against some of these defensive brains. It's bananas. Okay. Brent Venables early this week talked about, after practice, we should be getting healthier going forward. So we want to speculate. Who is he talking about? Let's dive into it. We do that. Shout out to our partners at Sleeper. If you're not using them for daily fantasy football or daily fantasy sports in general, you are missing out. They are hooking everybody up. They're going to give you $20 just for signing up. No deposit required. Use our promo code unfair. But if you decide to deposit, they're going to give you $100 if you deposit $100. And I jump in there and I play quite often. You just pick 2 or more players, pick more or less, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money, which turns your game days into paydays. So download the app. It's one of the top apps out there. Use our promo code unfair. You're going to get $100 if you deposit $100. But if you decide not to deposit, they're going to give you $20 for signing up. New users only. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Rate, review, give us 5 stars. If you have not subscribed to the channel, it's free. We are pushing towards 20,000 subs. We are roughly about 300 away. And it would mean the world to us if you give us those subs so that we can get to 20,000 subscribers here on the channel. All right, Coop. Brent Venables talked about it was after practice because it's bye week, so he didn't have his weekly conference. The conference in preparation for game week. So he didn't have that. We didn't have an injury report this week because, of course, it's a bye week. And they had practice, I think, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. And I think they let him loose Thursday the rest of the week to be able to enjoy having a weekend. Heck, we saw Brent Venables hanging out in Clemson. Shout out to the Clemson fans. They were in their feels because Brent Venables was decked out in Clemson gear. He was on the sideline. They were in their feelings. And I get it. I 100% get it, because why wouldn't I be in my feels about the offensive coordinator who was out there, helping us win natties? And now our team is who we are right now. Like you understand. Like I don't. It wasn't even bad. Like they just were like, we miss you, man. And this is kind of the picture that was floating around. Of course, he went there. He went to go watch his son play because Tyler Venables is still there. That literally leads back to all of Brent Venables' statements of, I wasn't taking any kids from Clemson. I wasn't going to poach them. And this is not photoshopped. This isn't even this is literally him last night on the sideline, visiting his son and watching his son play. I think this is his last year, if I'm correct. I think this is his final year playing ball. So I thought it was a cool moment, cool dad moment. He got to be a dad for a change. He got to be there and celebrate and cheer on his son, something you don't get to do. That's the thing that sucks, is when you're a parent and you work in this industry, as a coach, and you have kids that are athletic and go play athletics. You typically don't get to see them play unless they play for you. And he got to watch his boy go out and ball. So, he was all cheesing. He was all happy.
Yeah, he was.
So they were in their fields. But anyway, back to the whole point of this discussion is BV mentioned that they expect players to be back healthy this coming week. We should get a few players back. Coop, who do you think he's talking about?
Do you want me to make you feel good, or do you want me to tell you the truth?
I never want you to make me feel good. I want you to tell me the truth. If it's good, bad, ugly, whatever, give me the real.
I think that we probably see the return of some of our China doll offensive linemen. So you're going to get some depth. I expect to see Simmons back, Kobe McKenzie, probably a Jake Taylor. Logan Howland will be, hopefully full go. But I don't feel too hopeful that we see our Mason Thomas this week.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the exact same boat. So kind of for the uninitiated here, I'm going to pull up the last report we saw before the Tennessee game. These were all the people you were dealing with that were down.
Oh, Keontez Lewis, too.
Right. You lost. Keontez was out. Troy Everett, Jacob Sexton, Jake Taylor. So 3 linemen there. Tatum and Javonte questionable with Kobe McKenzie, probable Logan Howland, which Logan Howland ended up coming off the list before the game, and he ended up showing up, being available if needed. Like he's a break in case of emergency, break the glass guy. But I do anticipate, like you mentioned, I think the offensive line should be borderline shored up. I think Troy Everett's the only one, because I don't actually expect Troy Everett to be available until probably LSU, if I'm being honest. That's about the timeline he had when he hurt that other knee in the spring, because he hurt that knee in April. He was back in September, end of September, early October. So he got hurt, early September this year. So that means probably late November is the earliest he'd be able to come back.
I think it was late in the Illinois State game.
Yeah.
Which would actually been August 30th. So, I mean, I don't know if we see Javonte Barnes again this season. I think we probably see some more Taylor Tatum, Keontez, Dolby still working through some stuff. If he wants to be here, I fully believe that, the coach staff would, let him earn his spot and earn his playing time. I don't think we see Sexton. I don't think we see Everett. But right now, Logan Howell and Jake Taylor, like those are just, hey guys, we got some depth, and that feels good for you as an offensive coaching staff. And then you also have guys like Isaiah Autry-Dent, who has technically been listed on the scout team, so he doesn't have to be listed on the availability report. But
right.
But yeah, so I mean, you're going to have maybe a really good offensive line, group to pull from. But watching Ryan Foje the past, game plus, I don't think Ryan Foje's given up that spot.
No. Please, I hope, and I saw this in the comments, people asking the question about that. I want to make sure that, and Kyle, you point this out very well, and I started this because I want to point this out as well. Do not mistake us talking about who's returning back healthy for the next set of games as people coming in to take jobs. Absolutely not. I do think our starting five is solidified, but having additional bodies there is always nice to have just in case. So when it comes to, I don't think Simmons gets that spot back. I think Foje's got it locked up because he played his best ball against Tennessee. Like, Fasusi was the problem child, unfortunately, in that game. And I think he's now getting past that ankle situation he was dealing with. I think he's starting to, he's each week he's gotten better. He still has some struggles, but he's gotten better. So, but yeah, no. Don't get it twisted. We're not calling
starting five.
Any jobs. Yeah.
Same starting five. Like, as at this point, like, especially with Simmons, like, you just want to have him finish the year healthy because dude has a decent, history with the concussions.
Unfortunately.
And so I don't want to see him get, I don't want to see him get in a spot to where, it's up for, grabs that he never plays football again. But I do say this is, man, this team is going to be the healthiest it's been all year. Barring anything crazy happening and, knock on the wood there. But I think that you feel pretty good about where you are defensively and offensively over the past two games. And so I don't think a good day in practice is going to knock X-Rob off the starting spot at running back, or knock Torrey as, the next guy up. Like, those two guys are going to be your bell cows going forward unless we're going to blow out. And then, you may see a Logan Howland get in, for a rotation every once in a while. Ozida, same situation. But I mean, I think that your lineup, really the only change I expect to see versus Bama, versus the starting lineup at Tennessee, is probably seeing either Okoye or somebody else as a starter for the RMT.
Yeah, that's going to be the question. And you're right. I don't think R. Mason Thomas is back this week, unfortunately. That was a quad pull is what BV said. And those things can be, they're not as bad as hammies, but it's still a critical component of his game. So I don't expect R. Mason Thomas this week. But the good thing is you've got Daniel Okoye right there in the chamber. You've got Taylor Wan, Marvin Jones Jr., and PJ Adebawore, who looked really good against Tennessee.
Very good.
You've got that. You've got a lineup of guys where the edge men are good. They're the room that I'm just
Yes.
like, yeah, I ain't worried about that. Now, of course, it is our Mason Thomas, and he is a premier component of the way this offense works. So, yes. I mean, his defense works. So I would totally understand everybody's stress about not having your best player out there to terrorize the other quarterback. I think we'll be fine with the way that these guys go in this game, especially because you're going to be using a lot of speed anyway. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not stressed on that. But yeah, I do not. I hate it more for our Mason Thomas than I do for
Oh yeah,
us.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, it
No,
hurts my feelings
it
for him
is.
more than it does us.
I mean, this is just another game to where he gets to go up against, some really, really good talent at their tackles and put more film out there for scouts. But I mean, I think our Mason Thomas, people know who he is and know what he is, and he is just a dynamic playmaker. But hey, I will say this is, I think that this game is going to be really, really good from a coaching plan standpoint, Jay. You get the injuries, you get the injured people back. Ball control offense, and if we can run ball control offense, and then that drives, that makes them have to be more successful on the other side of the ball because they don't get to be in a rhythm. So, pretty excited to see. I'd like to see Tatum get out there and get a few snaps too. Maybe some two back sets. I'd like,
That'd be nice.
heck, I would like to see. I'd like to see a situation where we put Tatum out in a route.
Yeah, I would like to see Tatum and Blaylock out there doing a route here or there with X Rob in the backfield. I mean, any one of those three would be awesome in a two-back set. But I mean, and Kyle, I see your question. Why would they let Mateer play and not R. Mason Thomas make that decision? Mateer was cleared
Well,
by the doctors. R. Mason Thomas ain't cleared by the doctors yet. That's the difference.
and
Mateer was
and
100% cleared by the doctors on that Thursday.
I have had a very, very, like, not tear but severe quad strain before, and you extend that one too far and that turns into a tear, and he's not seeing the field again for quite a long time.
Oh, he's
And
out to the
so, I
draft.
mean, yeah. So I would say that. I mean, there's a difference. Like, you can kind of wing it with that thumb post surgery, but yeah, no. I mean, now I'll say this: if he gets cleared by the doctors, RMT is going to come play.
Oh, absolutely. He's playing if the doctors clear him. Perfect example. Owen Heineke's playing with a broken thumb right now.
Yeah,
And y'all just watched him force the fumble that our Mason Thomas took to the crib. Like, he had a bone sticking out. He's bleeding one of those games. They wrapped him up. I guess they pulled the bone out, wrapped him up. And then he went back in the game with that massive,
yeah.
he got that massive club right now, specifically because he had the broken bone. So, but no, on the
And hey, I
speculation
would
of
say,
who, go ahead.
look at Logan. A little bit better depth at defensive end than we have at quarterback. So,
Yeah, we've got
that's a big
a,
thing too.
yeah, as Jimmy points out here, we're pretty stacked in that room. Plus, and as people are asking, wondering about some of the other backs, Jaden Ott's done. His he's out after this year. He unless he goes for a medical red shirt to leave, and which I don't think he'll get approved for. He's going to the league anyway, so he's gone. He'll try to get drafted late with combine numbers. That'll be the focal point. They'll look at the first couple years, wonder what happened. He'll give his reasons, and then boom, he'll go. But you're not. He's gone. Keontae, he's been down because I think he's been still dealing with some residual symptoms after the Texas game, because he had the situation, when he hit the wall. But he came back and played in Texas, and he got his bell rung again in a Texas game at Red River. And that's
Yeah,
why you ain't seen him since. And so it's more of that was the third time actually this season he got his bell rung.
third. Yeah,
And so we're going to play precaution with the king. We want to make sure that he's much better, but he's out because of that.
the Grant Calcaterra, the plan in effect right now.
Exactly. We need to make sure that he Gucci, and I think he will see him home games. He may actually come back this week too. Don't get it twisted. I wouldn't be surprised if he found a way back on the field for this week's game. So we'll see. I don't think. Well, that's the thing is Keontae doesn't have a red
He
shirt. He's
doesn't
already
average.
redshirted before. He is a super senior, so he ain't got no mo. He's done after this year. He was already slated to be gone after this season. Unfortunately, he played at Wisconsin 2 years, UCLA a year. He was at Southern Illinois for 2 years. He's a super senior, so he's your final component of the COVID year babies. So yeah, unfortunately, we don't get our boy Keontae back one more. I would love to have him back another year. Like once he was getting going, he became a great safety net for our guy, for John Mateer and everybody. So yeah, he's unfortunately completely done. I don't think he'll get a medical red shirt either. Neither him nor or Jaden. But we'll be all right.
Hey Jay,
I think
I would say that if I'm the university, I would say Jaden Keontae, we put your medical red shirt forms in. Keontae, we heard a word back from yours. Jaden, we're looking for yours. We can't quite find it, so we'll see.
Dang, bro, we don't know what happened. But hey, good luck out there. You got it. I hate that the eye didn't work out, man. That would have been fantastic. Yeah, that would have been great if that would have worked out. But hey, the good thing is we finally got healthy X-Rob, and you got to see what healthy X-Rob can do. 2 straight games, 100 yards rushing, and Torrey Blaylock should be able to hopefully add an additional hundo.
Yes.
Jaden Gibson should be back as well. He'll be healthy. So, if you go through a full assessment. Giovanni. Yes, Giovanni. My apologies. Giovanni will be back. JV Gibson is back next year. He is healthy. And they're going to add, of course, we're going to do a lot of shopping or whatnot to add not only pieces, but also play our own players. I think that's the one thing a lot of fans don't get about the way this staff works. And it's more so because offense, there's been so much shakeup that it's tough. But on defense, if you notice, we're not playing a whole bunch of portal dudes for the most part. I mean, you're playing Marvin Jones Jr. is getting some good snaps, and then Kendall Daniels. That's it. And Dominic Williams. There's your 3 that's on the defensive side that's really playing snaps. Everybody else is dudes that they've recruited. This staff really likes their evaluations and their players, and we're seeing the fruits of that as this defense is growing. We've got to get to that point on offense. But I'm going to warn y'all now. Once again, I've warned y'all this before. I hope y'all have been listening to me preach this to you because I've been preaching this sermon on the hilltop for a while. The offense will not be as stable as the defense because it's guaranteed the minute your offensive coordinator has really good years, he's getting another job. Can't do anything about it. Jeff Lebby had 2 years here. Made this total offense, like he was a top 15 efficiency and a success rate offense, and raw numbers, they were top 4 in the country. He got a head coaching job in the SEC. If Ben Arbuckle turns this around year 2 next year and we look absurd on offense while still having this really good defense, he's getting another job. You got him maybe 3 years. The stability will be challenging because every other team in the country, just like us, are looking for the microwave way to make our team better instantaneously.
Yeah.
And Brent Venables is going to live on, he's not going to be able to be like Dabo. He's going to be searching for OCs. Jim Nagy and staff's going to be looking for OCs very, very often. It's just the game's the game. Go look at everybody else. As OCs keep getting shuffled in and out, you start seeing these coaches start to struggle more and more. Stability's gone, but you're either going to be unstable on offense or on defense. Honestly, I kind of like that we're stable on defense, though, because that's going to help us long term. But we'll see. I mean, you got good recruits coming in. You got Bo Bentley showing up next season, which is going to be fun. Michael Hawkins should be able to get himself to the point where he needs to be, which is going to be fun. But as we look at this, I did want to point out one thing, though, Coop. Kobe McKenzie should be back this week. Gonna be honest.
I know I'm with you, and I know where you're
kind of want him to sit one more week. I want him to be 100% when we play Missouri, who we know
100%.
will have to run the ball against us.
Yeah.
I need him to be 100% for that game to be able to run stuff like crazy. I kind of want the coverage linebackers to play more against Bama because that's going to be our biggest issue.
Who was the SEC Defensive Player of the Week last week?
Owen Heineke.
Okay, so he is going to be. Listen, whatever your fandom says, the better covers linebackers Owen Heineke. He was calling the plays and everything against Tennessee, and that's no shot at Kobe. But again, like you said, I want Kobe back for the Missouri game, and I want him to be able to ball out that game. I want him to be available. But I saw somebody say something a few minutes ago. Owen Heineke is what we thought Jaren Kanak was supposed to be.
Yeah, it really is. He really is. It's weird to say, but you're 100% right. He's exactly who he is. He is what you were thinking Jaren Kanak was going to be. But you're going to need fast decision-making linebackers and good guys in coverage to make sure that things are a lot tougher for Ty Simpson. Now, we did that well on Jalen Milroe last year at the crib. The defense really stepped up. I think that we could do it again because I think we have a good understanding of not only Kalen DeBoer, but how, it's a little different with Ryan Grubb now, but I think we'll have a good idea of how to defend it. Like I said, we'll break that down based upon the numbers and stuff later this week. But when I'm looking at injuries, I want Kobe McKenzie back good and healthy for Missouri because I'm going to need him to stop Hardy and the other running back that they have that seems to be running down people's throat too. I don't want either one of them to have a good game.
You got to be good in your sound and your drops. And again, we'll talk more about this later, but Kobe is one of the leaders. He can do that just as well. Listen, if he is healthy, I want to see Kobe out there also. They seem to have those rotations good, and I also would rather have healthy bodies. So, but man, Owen Heineke, like his output this year has just been crazy. Yeah, I'm so appreciative of him, and man, he's like I said, doing it with a broken hand still, just going out there and balling out, going crazy.
Yes, Sean, to answer your question, DeZeffin is still in this class that I've seen. Y'all correct me if something's changed.
As of now, yes.
Now, could that change? Oh, absolutely. It appears that a lot of running backs have been hitting us up with the hey big head as of late.
I will say that he is currently here. But I'm gonna have to just keep it 100%. Like, dude posted his huddle film kind of just randomly the other day, as OU has had some folks who were a little bit higher up on the evals hit them up. And so I think that's part, nobody wants to see that, but what's the Taj Overton, kind of in the middle of the Tulsa game, he posted his huddle film, and it was just a few more weeks later. But no, Kyle, Dylan Edwards will not be on this football team. Like, I don't see
it either.
That's not a character match.
Yeah, I don't see the Dylan Edwards piece happening. I'm actually surprised he's leaving Kansas State, if I'm really being honest. That was odd to me.
Yeah.
The SP
Messiah
dropped. Ooh.
Yeah, Messiah Mickens is the Penn State running back who is also pretty interested in Oklahoma and vice versa. Also, I think that he was pretty close to the wide receiver that committed. And we got a 27 running back over the weekend too.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. It came out of nowhere, so I really didn't have time to really dive into the film. I plan on putting a video together of some of the 27s to break down what that class is going to look like, because, Coop, it seems to be that we're running into some really, really nice pieces. So as we speak
And
on
Jay,
that, let's go ahead.
where in the world is Carmen San Diego? Where are these kids coming from? How many dudes out of a certain state do we have right now?
You mean them OK Preps?
Oh no,
Yeah, we're.
I'm talking about
Oh, yeah, them
California.
Cali Sooners is out there eating too, man. Shout out to our boy Stacey
Yeah,
Ford. That
yeah.
man is out there. Yeah, he's decided to clock in for Oklahoma. So,
Sorry,
yeah,
Lincoln.
let's look at the polls real quick, though. We'll talk recruiting this week because I think it's a good idea to dive into that. So, let's do that. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review. Give us 5 stars. Again, a lot of you aren't subscribed to the channel that watches. We appreciate y'all giving us your eyeballs. Please hit that subscribe button. Help us out. We're trying to get to 20,000 subs. We're almost there. We're going to post this on the socials. So please check us out. Polls dropped. Coach's poll right here has... This is weird. This is funny, too. I looked at the numbers. The coaches voted us tied with Texas for number 10. So it's like they can't decide who should be above who. Which I get. Totally understand. But that's your coaches poll right there. We're tied for 10. So I have us at 11 mainly because Texas did win. And so I respect the sanctity of head-to-head matchups. Even though they typically pick it based upon, the lettering. I respect the sanctity of that. We are at number 10 right there in the coaches poll, which, like I said, not too big of a deal. AP poll, we are also right there with them. I think we're tied with them as well in the AP poll. So overall, Oklahoma still in a very good spot. Right now, we're out of the top. We're out of the playoffs right now. But again, as we talked about before, win and you are in. What do you think?
Jay, the narratives that you're hearing from this selection committee is just what it always has been. Hey, this is our decision. This narrative is going to fit this explanation, but then it may not necessarily fit this other explanation. I heard that they had, we have, I think it was Notre Dame, but they struggled earlier in this game. They were missing their starting center, and that's why they ended up losing that game. And listen, John Mateer came. He played in the Texas game in Texas. It was not a close victory for Texas. I mean, it was a decisive victory for Texas. That being said, if you go towards did his injury have anything to do with it? There's that argument. Is it like our two losses are to our rivalry and the number 6 team versus Texas's loss to an unranked, uncoached Florida team, and then the number 1 team? Yeah,
so funny to me.
And so the Texas fan wants to kind of negate that portion where you lost to a Florida team, and it just is what it is. But it means nothing as of this point. Like there's you continue just to go out and you ball out. It's great for some hate watching. That's why we were all rooting for Penn State this week. That's why we were kind of all rooting, for BYU. And if you listen to the most recent Oklahoma breakdown, Gabe tries to get in like, who do you root for? Who do you root against? This is just the fun. It's good to be back in this conversation. Whether OU finishes 10-2 or 9-3, like we're going to be in the middle of this throughout the rest of the season, and this week is going to matter. I mean, you got Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma, Alabama. Both are 6.5 dogs to the incumbent SEC teams. But listen, I don't feel necessarily 100% that Georgia can beat Texas, and I definitely feel like I feel like we have more than a fair shot of beating Alabama. So
I think both games this weekend is going to be really tough. Like, I can't say that, there's a definitive Georgia's going to, mud stomp them. And, I am a Texas hater, 100%. Pure, uncut, down to my bones. All man, hate, 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 hate. But I ain't gonna be out here and lie to y'all. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna be a hater. I'm just not gonna lie. I do think Texas can win that game. It's gonna be tough, especially if Arch is playing better ball like he is right now. That's gonna be a challenging game for Georgia. They have not looked like the Georgia defense that we're used to. But the good thing is it's going to be a fun game to watch. 100%. So all we do, if we beat Bama, depending on how we win, we probably pass everybody but Ole Miss. And if Texas wins, then Texas will be the only one ahead of us. Hey, I think it's going to be a strong battle, but that's kind of how I think it's going to go.
Jay, I'm not going to be mad if a couple weeks from now, OU and Texas are up there in those Georgia, Alabama spots, where it says Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Texas, Oklahoma. Like, that wouldn't be too bad in your boys' eyes.
Don't hurt my feelings whatsoever.
Just because who's leading OU and Texas being led by their defenses, Alabama and Georgia being led by their offenses. Oh, how the turntables have turned.
Look at, how the turntables. Exactly. That could be a possibility, which would be hilarious too, because I was told that wasn't possible, but that would be very crazy. No. Very crazy. Now, the bigger question is going to end up being, because I think A&M is going to end up in the SEC championship game. A&M would have to lose to South Carolina and Texas to not play in that game.
Yeah.
That's exactly how that would go. Texas would have to lose to both Arkansas and Georgia in back-to-backs. We would have to win every game going forward. And Ole Miss would have to get upset by Florida. That, in a way, puts us in the conversation of the SEC championship game, because then we also need Bama to lose. Actually, we need Georgia to lose too. Goodness gracious. Where's Georgia going to lose at? They're not losing nobody. Georgia's good. Georgia beats Texas, and then they're in the SEC championship game.
Georgia Tech. They got the Georgia Tech game.
That's not a conference. That's a non-conference game.
Oh, well, okay. You're
yeah, you see what I'm saying? I'm looking at the conference games. There's a lot of stories. There's a lot. There is a path for Oklahoma to go to the SEC championship game, but it literally requires everybody else to do their job, to do things.
Yeah, and Jay,
nothing to do with us.
Again, raise your hand if you'd be okay with getting an extra bye week during championship week and still getting into the playoffs. Like, you finish 10-2, and you don't got to play that game. You potentially host a game in Norman, round 1.
Yeah, you could. So here's your path. And I actually mentioned this on my morning after that I was going to put together. I'm going to put together another video just to break this down separately, because I think this is actually fun. There's only one path that I've been able to find that really makes sense that leads Oklahoma into the SEC championship game. We would have to beat Bama. Texas would have to beat Georgia. And then Texas would need to lose to Arkansas and A&M in back-to-back games.
And Ole Miss would have to lose
to Florida, and they could actually win the game against Mississippi State. If we get into because the way this is calculated is, if we get into a 1, 2, 3, 4-way tie at 6-2 in conference, we end up at the top because we have the highest opponent winning percentage.
My brain
right.
hurts.
Yeah. Going through all of the tiebreakers, dog, it's been racking my brains. Like, I have been so confused in looking at this. And I'm looking at this right now like, this is dumb, but it makes sense all at the same time. When you have 3 or more teams that are tied, they don't care about your head-to-head anymore. They care about winning percentage, about the opponents you've played. And Ole Miss will be at the bottom because theirs have the lowest winning percentage.
And, maybe this is something we talk about further down the road, but a lot of the candidates of who we would potentially host in a round one college football playoff game. Like, I'm guessing that they're probably going to want SEC teams to eliminate each other. And I don't think that they're going to spread those SEC teams out. And so, I mean, you're probably looking at an OU Texas, OU Ole Miss, or something like that game. Man, it's just there's a lot of football to be played because Texas could end up in the SEC championship game or the ReliaQuest Bowl. Like, so could Oklahoma. Like, that's the great part about this time is there's so many different pathways, still on the table.
It's true. So many options, which I love about college football. We've got so much fun, so many fun things to talk about. So I'm glad that we got to see all of you great people this evening. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this bad boy up, put bows on everything. Kind
of like the Thunder are doing.
Yeah, they think when we B to A as of late too. It's been impressive.
When we started, they were down by almost 20 points, and they're about to win by double digits. So
just absurdity. Look at you guys. Look at us. Who'd have thunk?
And imagine getting Texas Tech as your round one in Norman, getting whatever ACC I guess they're doing they're not doing the buys for the conference champions this year, right? It is the top 4 ranked teams. Am I crazy?
No. I don't think you're crazy.
Hey, again, you got to go. We'll talk more about Bama on Wednesday, but
yes.
You got to take care of your business because hate watching only works if your team's gravy,
Yeah. Hate watching only works if your team wins. So we've got a big one this weekend. Make sure y'all are loud and proud. For those that end up in Birmingham/Tuscaloosa, I will be floating around there. So please find your boy. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. There's a question in here that I thought was interesting because a lot of people was asking the questions about the ACC. We'll close on this one. ACC will get one team. There is a possibility that Duke could play in the ACC championship game. I'm looking at their standings right now. And Duke is 4-1 in conference. The good thing for Duke is being 4-1 in conference. They play North Carolina. They play Virginia, North Carolina, and Wake. If they beat Virginia, there is a path for them to walk into the for them to go into the conference championship. I'm going to play around with that right now. See, Duke wins all of these games. Yeah. If they get into a 3-way tie with SMU and Georgia Tech with only one loss, Duke goes. That's crazy to me. But they can. So keep your eyes open on that. We'll talk about implications on that a little bit later. So, yeah. We'll appreciate it. And, we'll see you all on Wednesday. Peace.